All right, let's just get right into it. If you're Gen Z, you are probably feeling the squeeze. I mean, the cost of literally everything feels kind of insane right now. And debt? It just feels like this massive anchor holding you back. But what if there was a tested, actually proven plan to not just manage that debt, but to escape it? Well, that's exactly what we're breaking down today.
And look, the pressure is so real. By 2026, the average debt for someone in Gen Z is expected to hit around $34,000. We're talking student loans with payments that are just brutal, like over $500 a month, credit card balances that just keep creeping up, and oh yeah, all those sneaky buy now, pay later traps. It's a heavy weight for sure, but really understanding the size of the problem is always the first step to crushing it.
Now, the plan we're about to walk through, this isn't just some theory from a textbook. It's been tested in the real world, with real money, and it got real results. So you can forget all that just stop buying lattes nonsense. These are the exact, actionable steps that made a massive dent in a serious debt load. The most important thing to know is, this is an escape plan that actually works.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with that big, hairy $34,000 problem. Then we'll dive into something called the hybrid debt attack. After that, we'll build a financial safety net, find some extra cash with budgeting and side hustles, learn some smart negotiation tactics, and finally, see how it all adds up to that $15,000 result. Sound good? Let's do it.
Okay, our first big move is a total game changer. It's called the hybrid debt attack. And what it does is pretty brilliant. It combines the two most popular debt repayment methods into one superpowered strategy. It basically uses both psychology and math to work for you, not against you.
So you've probably heard of these two big guys, right? You've got the snowball method. That's all about getting quick, motivating wins by knocking out your smallest debts first. Then you have the avalanche method, which is pure math. It saves you the most money in the long run because you're targeting your highest interest debt. Both are great, but what if we could get the best of both?
Here's how it works in 3 super simple steps. First, you list out all your debts. No hiding. Second, you gotta cover your minimum payments on everything so you don't fall behind. But then, and this is the absolute key, you take every extra dollar you have and you throw it at the debt that is both relatively small and has a high interest rate. This way, you get that psychological boost of a quick win, but you're also saving a ton of money on interest.
And the results, they really speak for themselves. Using this hybrid attack, a $2,800 credit card, with a nasty 22% interest rate, by the way, was completely wiped out in just 3 months. That momentum is everything. Once that debt was gone, its payment got rolled into the next target, and in just 8 months, a total of $9,200 in debt was just gone.
Okay, so we've got our attack plan. Now we need a solid defense. And trust me, this next step is absolutely non-negotiable if you want to stop the debt cycle for good. We're talking about your financial safety net, a starter emergency fund. The entire purpose of this fund is to build a wall between you and new debt. Because life happens, right? Cars break down, you get an unexpected bill, and without this cash buffer, those emergencies go straight onto a high-interest credit card. And just like that, you're right back where you started.
Now, the goal here isn't some massive, intimidating 6-month fund. We're just talking about a starter fund, something like $1,000 to $3,000. By doing simple things like cutting a few subscriptions and setting up automatic transfers from each paycheck, this $2,500 goal was hit in just 4 months. It's all about those small, consistent moves.
And here's a perfect example of why that fund is so critical. Let's say a $1,200 car repair pops up out of nowhere. With your emergency fund, you just pay it and you move on. No big deal. But if you put that on a high-interest credit card, that same repair could easily end up costing you over $1,700. That's $500 you just saved, simply by having that cash ready to go. So we have our attack and we have our defense. Now we need fuel for the fire. This next part is all about finding and creating extra cash to just pour onto your debt and speed this whole process up. Okay, the secret weapon here is something called a zero-based budget. I know, it sounds a little intense, but all it really means is that before the month even starts, you tell every single one of your dollars where it's supposed to go. You give it a job. It's all about taking total control so that nothing, and I mean nothing, gets wasted. And this is the power of that control in action. By tracking every single dollar and making some pretty ruthless cuts, like for example, slashing the eating out budget from $400 a month down to $100, an extra $4,800 was freed up in just 6 months. That's almost $5,000 that went directly to destroying debt. Now, to really put this thing into overdrive, you can stack a side hustle on top of your budget. And this is where being Gen Z is your superpower. You can use AI to help with freelance writing or do delivery ops on the weekends. These are pretty low-effort ways to bring in an extra $500 to $1,000 a month. In this case, it averaged an extra $800 a month, and almost all of that went straight to debt.
All right, for our final proactive step, we're going to attack the cost of the debt itself. Up until now, we focused on paying down the balance, but now it's time to get smart and actually work on lowering your interest rates.
You're not going to believe this, but sometimes all it takes is one phone call. Seriously, by just calling the credit card company and asking, politely of course, for a lower interest rate, the APR on one card dropped from a painful 22% all the way down to 14%. That is a massive reduction in how much money you're just giving away.
And get this, that one phone call ended up saving $1,200 in interest over just 1 year. That's money that's no longer going to the bank, it's money that can go toward your actual debt. This, plus looking into things like 0% balance transfers or income-driven repayment plans for your student loans, can dramatically speed things up.
So, after putting all of these pieces together, the hybrid attack, the safety net, the budget, the extra income, and the smart negotiation, what does it all add up to? Let's take a look at the final result.
Over $15,000. That is the total amount of debt that was completely eliminated in less than 1 year. It's not magic. And yeah, it's not always easy, but this just proves that with a clear plan and consistent action, making real life-changing progress on your debt is absolutely 100% possible.
So here it is, the entire escape plan, all recapped for you. Number 1, use the hybrid attack. 2, build your starter emergency fund. 3, master that zero-based budget. 4, fuel your progress with side hustles. And 5, negotiate your rates. That's the blueprint.
Look, debt does not have to be a life sentence. This plan proves it. The single most important thing you can do is just start. So the real question for you is, looking at this proven plan, which of these 5 powerful steps are you going to start with first?